All right, so we have a new conversation today. Is Islam compatible with Western civilization? So, in other words, is Islam compatible with democracy? Can it work with a democratic state? That of like the United States, Canada, United Kingdom, France, and many other democratic countries. Can Islam work with the democratic society? I'll provide my answer. But first, before I do that, I want to go ahead and say this is obviously a learning curve for mankind. And if you're a Muslim, I want to say, look, me as a Christian, okay? And first off, before I say anything as like Christian, whatever, before anybody is a religion, takes part in a religion, first he is a human being. Mankind has been conditioned and programmed to learn these things. A Muslim wouldn't know the Quran or Allah if it was not presented to them. You had to be taught this stuff. A Christian wouldn't know Christianity unless it was presented. You see what I'm saying? It's pretty good. It's good logic. It makes sense. Because at the end of the day, we're all humans. We choose what we want to do. We choose what we want to follow. Regardless of whether or not you were brought up however type of way. We all have this one thing in common. A choice. So before I'm go ahead and start reading, and then I'll go ahead and give my part. So is Islam compatible with Western civilization? All right, let's go through. 1. The type of Islam which rejects the social and political claims of the Sharia law are compatible with democracy and with the institutions of Western civilization. Those Muslims who believe that the foundational principles of our legal and political systems do not need to be configured on the basis of Sharia law are following a type of Islam that is compatible with democracy in Germany and in the rest of the free world. The free world, for anybody who doesn't know, is a free world, a world that is free. It's not like we take allegiance to a religion or anything like that. We live in a free country, a free world where people are able to practice as they please. Okay. A good example of this type of Islam would be the Alawites. Muslims who reject the political and legal claims of Sharia law can honestly affirm democracy without internal reservation. They do not believe they have to make decisions either to follow their faith or to follow the principle of democracy. Rules regulating fasting and prayer are formally part of Sharia, but they do not compromise a political program. Although officially established Muslims theology does not accept a distinction between faith and rituals on the side and Sharia law on the other side. Many Muslims practice such a distinction. Many Muslims who practice this distinction between following the rules of their religion and the application of the political part of Sharia law are true friends of democracy and sometimes become the most vocal support of democracy. I believe this 100%. I believe the Muslims that practice it to the core, but also love their freedom, are the true Muslims. But obviously, true Muslims can mean a lot of different things. One true Muslim might say no to democracy. Another one might say yes to democracy. You feel me? There's two conflicting things that, Islam has with itself. So let's keep reading. So, let's see. There are Muslim intellectuals, theologians, progressive thinkers, women's rights activists, and human rights activists who are appealing for a freedom-oriented Islam that does not apply Sharia law to a society and politics. Let me tell y'all this. If you're an Arab woman, or if you're a woman and you believe in Islam, okay, you are blessed to be in a country like the United States or any Western country, because the fact that you're able to participate in human rights and to be a progressive thinker, women's rights and human rights, bro, y'all have to understand the countries of the Arab origin, or like the Muslim origin, goes back to the Middle Eastern countries. And the Middle East is where like the core of everything is at. So Islam is all the way in the Middle East. That's where it came from. And then it spread to the other countries. So let me say this right now. Muslim women would not be able to have women's rights or anything like that if America didn't allow the freedoms that it does today. You see what I'm saying? Muslim women have it good. I'm telling y'all do. Muslim people have it good here in the United States. Because you have to remember, your grandparents, your parents, your ancestors, where they came from, they had to travel all the way across the other part of the world to reach the land of milk and honey. Your family literally escaped persecution, a type of persecution, a type of killing. Your ancestors know what I'm talking about. Islam to the core is not a nice book. If people really want to get down to the real fullness of Islam is not a peaceful religion. Yes, we know it promotes the goodness of, but at the same time, we cannot forget what's actually inside of the Quran and what the Quran promotes, what it says to do to unbelievers and those who don't want to go with Islam. For the most part, yes, I understand. There are Muslims out there that understand what I'm saying, that they understand that, yes, there are bad parts in there, but not all of us are like that. I 100% understand what you're saying. But then how about the other half? Do they understand? Trust me. Islam kills its own people as well. It kills indiscriminately, regardless of color, race, anything. It doesn't care. See what I'm saying? And just as a human being first, as I always say, when I hear imams talk, for the most part, most imams are cool. But then there are other imams that I see, that I watch, and that I hear. And they speak this violent tone. They speak this violence, this uprising. It's like they speak of an uprising. It's like a roar for violence they speak. Because they'll say, if the unbelievers don't submit, you fight the unbelievers until submission. You know what fighting means? They're not going to say it fully, but when they say fight, they mean kill. We're not just fighting just to be fighting. We're fighting for life and death. So these imams are speaking that. They say to humiliate the Christians, humiliate the unbelievers, and the Jewish people. They speak this type of violence off the tongue. It's like a snake. It's venomous, you know what I'm saying? Look, and like I always say, we don't find this type of stuff in the Bible or Buddha, anything like this. This stuff is not even in the Bible. You see what I'm saying? So if I had to pick a side, I wouldn't even be able to side with Islam, because Islam already promotes these things. And plus it goes after its own people, which is kind of fucked up. It tries to do that. You see what I'm saying? Islam is like, if you, cause like, it has apostasy laws, where it's like, okay, if someone leaves Islam, they get put to death. But at the same time, let me go ahead and say this right now. I want to be honest to the Muslims. How can those Muslims that say the apostasy really, how can those Muslims really know if you're a Muslim or not, unless you say that, or you say that you're a Muslim out loud? This is what kind of confuses me. Because, see, imagine if Christianity was like apostasy laws, right? If you leave Christianity, you die. Imagine if Christianity was like that. Christians, you would have hardcore Christians that would stay with Christianity. They wouldn't leave. Some of them know, because for one, they don't want to be, they just don't want to leave because they know the consequences. Apostasy law. Now, Christianity doesn't have apostasy law. God does not promote that. Christianity does not promote apostasy. If you leave Christianity, you just leave Christianity. If you leave Islam, you can leave Islam, but then there's like this cloud, this atmosphere. This atmosphere of death, or whatever you want to call it. It's like an atmosphere of death, because they literally, they say it to you. They say it to the Muslims. Any man who leaves Islam is bound to death. But I really think that's just a weak attempt to make people submit to the fullest extent without, without critical thinking. They can't come after the free Muslims, especially in the free world, because unless, this is what I always say, unless you make it known to the whole fucking world, then I guess they would try to come after those Muslims, the free critical thinking Muslims. They don't want critical thinking people. That's the issue. All they want is people to submit. That's what Islam is all about, submission. You can't ask questions. You feel me? You can't do these things. And that's just to me, what I think that is, all that is just another way to be like, shut up. Don't ask questions. Just do what we told you to do. You feel me? Mankind has questions. You see what I'm saying? You can't take that away. You can't stop mankind from asking questions. Mankind has always asked questions. And it won't stop just because Islam says stop or don't ask. No, fuck that. That's not how it works. They want the religious war. At least the violent Muslims, the violent imams, the violent Muslims. They want a religious war. That's what they want. They want to go to war with people like me, Christians. They want to go to war with people like you, the unbelievers. They want to go after anybody that does not accept Islam. And then they want to go after their own people. This is how it works. Isn't that crazy? They go after their own people, and then they try to go after Christians, Jews, and everybody else as a side quest excuse. You see what I'm saying? Because Islam conflicts with its own self. Islam has its own thinking. It has its own atmosphere. You see what I'm saying? 1,000 lashes just because a woman spoke out in public? Damn. Imagine doing that shit here in America. You see what I'm saying? And that's crazy to me.